What's up, guys? How are you all doing today? The Golden State Warriors are without a doubt the team of the decade in the 2010s, appearing in 5 straight NBA Finals to end the decade and hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy in 3 of those 5 trips. The Warriors were so much fun to watch and capture the hearts of fans worldwide. They played an exciting brand of basketball, lots of ball and player movement. All 5 guys were involved in the play, and they were incredible at shooting. Led by the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and their defensive anchor, Draymond Green, the Warriors are a team that thrive on both ends of the court. In this video, I'll discuss how the Warriors were able to build their dynasty after decades of mediocrity. In 2007, the We Believe Warriors team knocked off the number 1 seed Dallas Mavericks in the playoff, but were bounced by the Utah Jazz in a gentleman's sweep in the next round. Many fans in the Bay Area were excited and ready for another run, but that run would never happen. Instead, Golden State missed the playoff for the next 5 years and went back to an irrelevant team. Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, Jason Richardson, and many of the players from the 07 squad were no longer on the team. All that remained was Monte Ellis. It was time to start from the ground up again. In the summer of 2009, the Warriors had the 7th pick in the draft. How ironic is it that the Warriors were negotiating a deal with then Phoenix Suns GM Steve Kerr about a trade? Golden State would send the 7th pick along with other players in exchange for All-Star forward Amar'e Stoudemire. Both the Warriors and Suns wanted Steph Curry, but did not see him slipping in the draft, and waited patiently as Minnesota made their selection with the 5th and 6th pick. The Timberwolves selected Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn with back-to-back picks. The Warriors draft room couldn't believe what Minnesota just did, and quickly canceled trade talk with Phoenix and went out to select Steph Curry with the 7th pick. They thought Curry would become a good player, but they were way off. He became a great player, one of the best that's ever played. In 2011, Mark Jackson was hired as the new coach. Just in his 2nd season as head coach, Jackson turned the franchise around by leading them back to the playoff for the first time since 2007. Jackson instilled confidence in the young players, especially Steph and Klay. He called them the greatest shooting backcourt of all time. Many people laughed at Jackson when he first made that remark, but guess who's laughing now? The Warriors made consecutive playoffs under Jackson for the first time since 1991-92. After patrolling the silence for 3 years, Jackson was fired. He may not have managed to soak in all the championship glory, but he was the man that started the rebuild and was loved by so many players, especially Steph and Andre Iguodala. Bob Myers, a kid that grew up in the Bay Area, was also hired in 2011 as the assistant GM, but was quickly promoted to GM a year later. Myers turned out to be one of the best GMs today and will go on to make key decisions. He is the brain trust and seemingly made all the correct moves. In June of 2011, Golden State took Klay Thompson with the 11th pick in the draft, more than making up for the mistake in 2010 when they took Efe Udoh with the 6th pick. When Klay was drafted, many questioned the pick as the Warriors already had Curry and Monte Ellis in the backcourt, but boy were his doubters wrong. Klay is arguably the 2nd greatest shooter of all time, but what separates him is his defense. On the defensive end, Klay usually takes the tougher assignment, leaving Curry fresh in offense to create highlights. Thompson is one of the most underrated defenders and a multiple-time All-Star, All-NBA player, and one of the most explosive scorers in the league, just ask the Sacramento Kings, who watched Klay erupt for 37 points in a quarter. At the trade deadline in 2012, it was clear that the small backcourt of Curry and Ellis wasn't working. 2 undersized guards who were poor defenders. In order to build a championship team, one had to go. The question is who? Curry or Ellis? Ultimately, Ellis was dealt to Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for big man Andrew Bogut, who solidified the Warriors' front court. Bogut played a vital role in the 2015 championship run and was an underrated shot blocker. There have been a lot of rumors that Milwaukee wanted Steph Curry instead of Ellis. Mark Lazary, co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, confirmed that, and I quote, "That was a deal, but the Bucks medical staff didn't think Curry's ankles would hold up. That killed the deal." Curry missed 40 games in the lockout 62-game season in 2012 due to ankle and foot injuries. Looking back, Golden State was very fortunate because Curry's ankles were a blessing in disguise. Had Curry been healthy all year, Milwaukee would most likely opt for the 3-point king. Instead, Milwaukee chose the more durable Monte Ellis. With Monte gone, it was clear that Curry is now the leader and face of the franchise, and the rest is history. In the following summer, the Warriors took Harrison Barnes with the 7th pick in 2012 and hit a home run with Draymond Green with the 35th pick. Barnes was a slasher and a gifted scorer in college, and a perfect complement to Steph and Klay. Green was labeled a tweener, too short to play the 4 and too slow to play the 3, but little did we know Green would become the heart and soul of the Warriors. Green's defensive brilliance and intangible was exactly what the Warriors needed. He's the glue guy and does all the dirty work, things that won't show up on the box score. His energy and effort is contagious. His defense is off the charts and was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. As of this recording, he's made 6 all-defensive teams. On the offensive end, Green is no slouch either. He's a secondary playmaker after Curry and Green pick and roll, always making the right reads, a willing passer, hitting open shooters and throwing up lobs for anyone in the dunker spot for the easy 2 points. Right before the 2012-13 season started, Curry re-upped with the Warriors on a 4-year, $44 million deal. At this point, Curry has a long history of ankle injuries and already had multiple surgeries. It was unclear if his ankles would hold up, so it was probably the right decision to take the guaranteed money. Curry accomplished so much in those 4 years, winning 2 MVPs, including the first ever unanimous MVP in 2016. His production was definitely more than his salary. Because his contract was so friendly to the Warriors, it left room to attract more talent. A talent like no other. I think you guys know who I'm referring to. You got it. Kevin Durant. During free agency in 2013, the Warriors had their sights on 3-and-D wingman Andre Iguodala, but were left with barely any cap space. GM Bob Myers creatively maneuvered around this by dumping salary. He traded away Andres Beatrice, Richard Jefferson, Brandon Rush, and 4 picks, 2 firsts and 2 seconds, just to make room for Iguodala. This was a heavy price to pay, but it was well worth the price tag. Iggy was a selfless player and unlocked their small ball depth lineup. His defensive anticipation is like none other. Not to mention, he was able to slow down LeBron James enough in the 2015 finals and was awarded the finals MVP that year. In May of 2014, after popular head coach Mark Jackson was fired, Golden State was able to lure Steve Kerr away from the New York Knicks. Kerr had no coaching experience, but that didn't stop him from unlocking the full potential of the Warriors' shooting and ball movement. Since Kerr's arrival, the Warriors have become a juggernaut and done nothing but win, until these last 2 years where injuries devastated the roster. After losing to the LA Clippers in the 2014 first-round series, Golden State contemplated trading for Kevin Love. The deal would include Klay Thompson, David Lee in the first-round pick, or Harrison Barnes in exchange for Kevin Love and Kevin Martin. At the time, Love was a double-double machine and one of the best young studs, just coming off his best year. GM Bob Myers felt compelled to pull the trigger, but when he consulted with Jerry West, who was a team consultant, West nixed the deal, threatening to retire if this deal was completed. Ultimately, the Warriors decided to keep their young core together, and Kevin Love ended up in Cleveland. Since then, Klay Thompson has blossomed into an all-star and a knockdown shooter. Klay is still a terrific player who affects both ends of the court, while Kevin Love, on the other hand, has regressed. Since leaving Minnesota, he's yet to average 20 points per game. How ironic is it that Kevin Love and Klay Thompson, who were Little League baseball teammates, would almost end up being traded for one another and then wound up on opposite sides in the NBA Finals in 4 straight years. Sometimes the best trades are the ones that you don't make. During the preseason game to begin the 2014-15 season, David Lee, the starting power forward, injured his hamstring and Draymond Green was the next man up. Green showed flashes of brilliance and never relinquished the starting role. His intensity, defense, and competitiveness put the Warriors over the top. Many viewed Green's promotion as a changing point of the Warriors from a good to great team. In February of 2015, the NBA announced a massive TV deal, leading to a spike in the salary cap beginning in the 2016-17 season, which means more money to go around for players. Many players who were free agents in the 2016 offseason cashed in massive deals. When it's all said and done, several players were way overpaid, but that wasn't Golden State's problem. Fresh off a championship win, the Warriors came back with more hunger and started the 2016 season by winning their first 24 games. They finished that year with the best record of all time, 73 wins and 9 losses. The Warriors were heavy favorites to repeat. They were up 3-1 in Cleveland in the 2016 finals and were 1 win away from completing the greatest season in the history of the game, but that one win would never come. Cleveland shocked the world and completed the greatest comeback in finals history. Devastated by the loss, Golden State looked to the biggest fish on the free agent market. I think you guys know who I'm referring to, Kevin Durant. KD is an ultra talent, and with him on the squad, they altered the basketball universe. Golden State became virtually unbeatable and won back-to-back championships. Golden State's run from 2015 to 2019 was as great as any run in the modern era of basketball. 5 consecutive finals appearances. If it wasn't for LeBron's greatness in 2016 and injuries in 2019, there's a strong possibility that the Warriors may have won all 5 times. But with that being said, there was a lot of luck that went the Warriors' way. This all would have blown up in smokes if Minnesota had a competent GM, or if the Milwaukee Bucks decided to trade for Curry, despite their early ankle injuries. The TV deal that just so happens to kick in on the year KD becomes a free agent. What if Russ and KD never choked away their 3-1 lead on Golden State in the Western Conference Finals? So as you can see, there are a lot of things that broke in the Warriors' way in order for this dynasty to take place. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Please help the channel grow by smashing that like button and subscribe. Have a fantastic day.